Hey everyone, welcome to the show.
Hi, and welcome. Today we're tackling a super common grammar gremlin in English. The mix-up between was and were.
That's right. If you've ever paused, unsure whether to say I was or I were, this podcast is definitely for you.
Even advanced English speakers sometimes stumble over this one, but don't worry. By the end of our chat, you'll know exactly when to use each, and more importantly, why.
We'll break down the rule, arm you with a memory trick that'll stick forever, show you how these verbs pop up in everyday conversations, and quiz you to make sure it's locked in.
So, let's start with the basics. Both was and were are past tense forms of the verb to be. So, we're using them to describe something that happened in the past.
Exactly. Like, I was exhausted or they were ecstatic.
But the key difference is who or what you're talking about. That's what determines which verb you choose.
Exactly. Think of was as the past form for singular subjects, and were as the past form for plural subjects.
So, we're talking was with I, he, she, and it.
And were hangs out with you, we, and they.
Let's zoom in on each of these, because that I can be a real troublemaker for a lot of learners.
Oh, it absolutely is. You often hear things like, I were at home yesterday, but that's a no-go.
Nope. The correct sentence is, I was at home yesterday.
Another example, I were watching TV last night. Incorrect. It should be I was watching TV last night.
So, nail that one down. When talking about yourself using I, always use was.
All right, next up, we often hear, you were very busy.
Again, not right. The correct sentence is, he was very busy.
Same deal with she. She were my teacher is incorrect. It's she was my teacher.
And also with it were broken becomes it was broken.
So, remember this. If your subject is he, she, or it, always use was.
Okay, let's move on to you. This one's sneaky because you can be singular or plural.
Exactly. You could be talking to one person or a whole crowd, but the verb stays the same.
So whether you're saying you were right to one person or you were all amazing at the meeting to a group, it's always were.
Yep, you is considered plural in English grammar, even when you're just talking to one individual.
Next up, we. And again, plenty of learners slip up here, saying things like, we was tired after work.
Wrong. The correct sentence is, we were tired after work.
Another one, we was late to the party becomes, we were late to the party.
So, lock it in. Whenever you're using we, always pair it with were.
And finally, they. This is another plural subject, so it's always were.
So, they was at the movies turns into the correct. They were at the movies.
Or, they were very angry. And hey, that one's already correct.
So, remember, if your subject is you, we, or they stick with were.
Alright, now that we've got the basics down, let's arm you with some memory tricks to make this stick forever.
Here's a simple one. Think of the word was. It has an S sound, which can remind you of singular.
And were has an R, which you can imagine stands for the rest of the pronouns, you, we, and they.
Another one. A simple sentence to visualize the difference. I was alone, but they were together.
Or try repeating this little phrase. Was for one, were for more than one.
Try saying that out loud. Was for one, were for more than one.
Great. Now you've got a few easy ways to nail the difference between was and were.
So, let's hear these verbs in the wild. How do they sound in real-life conversations?
Imagine you're catching up with a friend who asks, did you go to the party last night?
You could reply, no, I was really tired after work.
Or someone asks, what did you do yesterday?
You might say, I was watching Netflix all evening.
Now imagine talking about a group of friends. Sarah and Mike were at the concert downtown.
Or, my parents were very excited to meet you.
These are everyday sentences native speakers use, and now you can too.
Let's flag up some common mistakes so you know what to avoid. Top of the list, using were with I.
I were at school today is a no-no. Correct it to, I was at school today.
Another frequent flub, using were with he or she. So, she were my best friend becomes she was my best friend.
And naturally, was with they is also a mistake. They was at the restaurant? Nope. They were at the restaurant.
So, sum it up. Singular subject, was. Plural subject? Were.
Before we wrap, a quick look at contractions because you'll hear these all the time in spoken English.
Right? Contractions are shortened forms of words. I was becomes I'm. He was becomes he's. They were becomes er.
But when things speed up, especially in casual chats, we often mash these together with other words.
So, listen carefully because native speakers often swallow syllables or blend words. You might hear, I was as I was, or they were as they were.
That's why listening practice is so key. Try to mimic what you hear, and you'll start sounding more natural in no time.
Well, that's just about it for today. Thanks for tuning in.
Good luck and keep practicing.